staying the distance.
The 2025 Arima Kinen, number 5 Regaleira, started favourite with Museum Mile and Danon Decile on the next line of betting.
And Tastiera goes forward, so stand by. They're ready. The Arima Kinen of 2025. They're set, off and racing. Even dispatch. Meisho Tabaru, Mystery Way go forward. Wider out Elton Burrows. Even wider out going on, and now moving up is Cosmo Coranda. Harder just in behind them now. Tastiera's got into a great position early. Gee, that's some good riding from Atsuyama. And running in 4th position right now is Meisho Tabaru. Then comes Elton Burrows, Cosmo Coranda, Minor Emperor there as well. Admire Terra's trapped down on a bit of a limb. Then comes Shin Emperor. Back to Excite Bio. Midfield at the moment pulling a bit is Danon Decile, followed by Museum Mile, Regaleira. Well back in the run, 4th last at the moment, Justin Palace. Back on the fence is Ardita. On its inside is Chevalier Rose, and at the tail of the field is Sunrise Zipangu. They go past the winning post the first time, and Utakatake swoops up on the outside to try and join Mystery Way in the lead. And Mystery Way leads into that next corner from Meisho Tabaru's out on a limb. Cosmo Coranda's keeping it up there. Then comes Admire Terra, followed by Shin Emperor. Then Tastiera, back to the inside, Elton Burrows, Minor Emperor. Excite Bio, Danon Decile midfield, being tracked by Museum Mile. On the rail is Ardita. Back is Sunrise Japangu. Regaleira is back second last at the moment. Justin Palace at the tail of the field. And further up in between, inside Museum Mile, was Chevalier Rose. They go out of my view momentarily, and Meisho Tabaru's taken up the lead from Mystery Way. Running in 3rd right now as they come back into view is Cosmo Coranda. Then comes Admire Terra, Shin Emperor. Tastiera's had the run of the race at the moment, being joined quickly now by Elton Burrows. There goes Minor Emperor around the outside. Danon Decile's given free rein. Excite Bio goes forward. Museum Mile, Justin Palace. Regaleira, a lot of work to do. Back with Chevalier Rose. Sunrise Japangu and Ardita at the tail of the field. They're starting to bunch up. Utakatake has Meisho Tabaru in front. Cosmo Coranda breathing down its neck. Tastiera on the outside joins in, starting to run on down the middle of the track is Danon Decile, Museum Mile. Regaleira is held up for a run in between runners, and Justin Palace well back and can't come on. They've got to catch this. Cosmo Coranda in front. Here they come. Here comes Museum Mile. A 3-year-old Museum Mile goes up to Cosmo Coranda. Museum Mile. Christian Demuro beats Cosmo Coranda. Great run by the number 10 horse. In between runners, Regaleira late with Danon Decile, Sunrise Zipangu.
Museum Mile gets there. Christian Demuro grabs his first Arima Kinen after going so close last year. This win for Museum Mile really confirms the form around Tenno Show Autumn winner and fellow 3-year-old colt Masquerade Ball. And what about the run of Cosmo Coranda? He and jockey Takeshi Yokoyama almost pulled off one of the biggest upsets in Japanese racing history. The 4-year-old hadn't placed in his last 5 starts. As for the favourite, Regaleira, she was beaten by a better ride and her inability to leave the starting gates efficiently. On Museum Mile, it will be interesting to see if he ends up in Dubai in April. This was trainer Daisuke Takayanagi's 4th Group 1. The 48-year-old has only been training horses since 2018. Museum Mile is definitely the best horse he's been associated with. Time to look a little closer at the key moments that decided the race. Prior to this race, Regaleira had a reputation for being slow to break from the barriers, and she proved consistent to that theme in this year's Arima Kinen. Now we hit pause and we can see both Regaleira and Museum Mile are slowly away, but Christian Demuro on Museum Mile has a very different response to Christophe Lemaire on Regaleira. Post-race, interestingly, Demuro said he believed that Danon Decile was the biggest threat to Museum Mile and he aimed to follow him. You'll see soon he executes that task to a T. Quickly we'll take a look at them heading down the home straight for the first time, and early on you can see Lemaire and Regaleira shifted 3 to 4 wide and must have been considering trying to get past Museum Mile. We'll have a look again using the Jockey Cam images. It is somewhat clouded video due to a piece of turf landing on the lens, but I'm sure you'll get the gist. Now we find ourselves at the 1,000 metre mark, just after Meisho Tabaru has charged to the lead. He's about to dramatically slow things down. And remember, the longer he puts the brakes on, the more boost he gets to his energy reserves. As you mull on that, I've put on screen the lead time sectionals from this year's Arima Kinen, the 2024 Arima Kinen won by Regaleira, and the 2022 Arima Kinen won by Equinox. This year's race was the fastest of the three on screen, a total time of 2:31.5, then it was Regaleira with 2:31.8 and Equinox, the world beater, winning in 2:32.4. There's a couple of reasons I'm showing this. We can see the year Regaleira won, the pace picked up 1,200 metres from home and she won with sheer stamina. She may even be suited to a 2-mile race like the Tenno Show Spring. That's something for the connections to consider in 2026. Then you contrast that race shape with this year's race. The pace only comes on at the 800 metre mark, and if you consider that Museum Mile rattled off a 32.3 second final 600 in the Tenno Show Autumn, it's going to be hard for Regaleira to make up that 1.5 to 2 length margin between them at the 800 metre mark, especially considering the speed between the 1,000 and 800 metres was at least 3 lengths slower than the previous sectional. It's actually quite surprising only Cosmo Caranda of the lead pack stayed on and finished in the placings. If a horse like Justin Palace had been racing closer to the pace, perhaps he could have repelled the late surge of Museum Mile. Anyway, Justin Palace has now retired along with Tastiera. We will watch the final 600 one more time, and before we do that, here are the respective splits for the first 4 horses home. Also, another shout out to jockey Christian Demuro. As the 2 Sunday racing horses round the bend into the straight, he keeps it tight and forces Christophe Lemaire and Regaleira to look for space in the crowded pack ahead of him and closer to the rail. This undoubtedly was crucial in preventing Regaleira from running to her full potential. Enjoy, check the odds.
Tastiera on the outside joins in, starting to run on down the middle of the track is Danon Decile, Museum Mile. Regaleira is held up for a run in between runners, and Justin Palace well back and can't come on. They've got to catch this Cosmo Caranda in front. Here they come. Here comes Museum Mile. A 3-year-old Museum Mile goes up to Cosmo Caranda. Museum Mile. Christian Demuro beats Cosmo Caranda. Great run by the number 10 horse. In between runners, Regaleira late with Danon Decile, Sunrise Zapangu. Wider out Justin Palace, then came Minor Emperor.
Will commence again if you try to take our fire.